Up next, we have a screamer to salute. All right, welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I wanted to go over the screamer firework to report. I was asked before on how to make these, and I haven't got around to making that video, but so this is a specific tool that I got off of Woody's as well. This is specifically for the screamer. So if you notice here, it goes in about that deep. So what it does is it actually gives a empty space in the tube for it to actually go off. So it's about right there. So that's where the tool goes in the depth. And then this is the rammer that you press. So if you notice that, it touches the top and it goes right down to right here. So you just kind of press your increments however much you want to use and however long you want it to go off. So just like that. And yes, every time you do an increment, you do want to kind of close this up so that way if anything goes off, this is kind of closed up. I kind of just do that right here behind the glass because this is meant for a blast shield type thing. And then you just press this guy in like so. And this is repetitive, but you just keep doing this. You do want to add enough fuel. As you can see there, there's a little gap. If you do too less, it'll actually impact this. And it's possible it can cause a shock and ignite the fuel. I don't know. I always just put enough in to start it. So I wouldn't be doing any types of tests to see if it'll actually ignite. It's pretty much just, I put enough fuel in there to make sure that it doesn't pinch on the tubes or the tooling. And then you also don't want to have it too low because you don't want to crush the tube because then it's a waste of a tube. I'll put you guys down so I can hold this. You don't want to hold it when you do it, but I do it just so it doesn't kick out. And if you notice here, the base on this one is smaller than the rammer for some reason. I'm not sure why, but that's pretty much the way it is. And you just keep doing that, and I will keep filling it, and I'll show you on a mark how far I went into it, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I pretty much did the last increment that I want to use. I don't fill it up all the way. You could fill it as much as you want, and I guess it'll just keep screaming as long as it wants, but I do want to make it with a report. So I'm going to be using my Blue Eddy portable battery bank to heat up my glue gun. This is, like I mentioned before, from Canon Fuse. It's it's an 80 watt powered glue gun, and as you can see there on the Blue Eddy output, it's about 65. It kind of jumps around 65 to 70 watts of power, especially when I probably start using it, it'll actually jump up. So this type of setup would be good for the field if you wanted to make something like this while you're out in the field, you know, while you're playing and stuff. But I did mention before I had bought some more fuse, so really quickly while that's heating up, whenever the fuse goes into it, it just touches the very bottom of the fuel. There's no hole to stick it into, but even if it was a rocket, you don't put anything in the nozzle, the whistle fuel nozzle, because it's going to make a core. All it is that you pretty much put the fuse in there like that to touch, and then what I do is I bend the fuse up, and then I use some gum tape, and it holds the fuse in place. And then once it lights off, it should be enough to do that. I forgot, I also do bend it a little bit like that, so that way when you put that in there, it kind of stays in place. I forgot to mention that because you don't want the fuse to pop out, but it just stays loose like that. And if you guys ever remember using the Moon Travelers, the whistling ones, you always notice the fuse has a little J on it, and it's usually just loose like that inside of the tube. And that's because you don't ever, like I said, stick the fuse into the nozzle. So this should be enough to hold it there. You probably don't need to gum tape it, but I usually do. So what I take is 1 square of toilet paper, and I kind of cut it in half just to kind of get there. You can add more or less, whatever you need to do. Then you kind of just roll it up into a decent sized ball, and then you plug it up and then use the hot glue to seal it. But first you do want to put some flash powder in there. So I'm gonna pull the fuse out really quick so I can have this stand up while I'm waiting for it. You can see the fuse actually kind of gets stuck in there, which is good. So this is my flash here. Again, I showed a video already on how to make that. It's 70 potassium perchlorate and 30% aluminum, dark aluminum German. I don't remember the mesh, but so I'm gonna be showing a video on how these perform, and I want to say when I made the last video it was just half a teaspoon of flash powder. I'm not sure how much that equates to in grams, but it was really loud when it went off. And in the video you can see a bright flash, and that's what the term is, the flash whenever it goes off. So pretty much the flash powder is in there. Take your rolled up piece of toilet paper, and I kind of feel a little bit like if it feels a little bit too loose, I'll take a slight bit more, and then I'll kind of roll it around there. You do want to like a tight press fit, like if you were going to be using a plug. You want it to kind of seal it. You don't want the gas to escape. Even though it is kind of fast and it lights off fast, you still want it to be pretty tight. So, all right, it's at 24 now. I guess it only uses at 60 watts or 80 watts to heat up, but so you pretty much just fill it up like that. Okay, fill it up like that. You allow it to cool off. I'll just put the fuse in now and twist it up like that, and then that's pretty much it like that. Take a piece of gum paper. I accidentally touched that glue there. It's a little bit hot, but it's fine. So this is more of a storage type thing or transportation type thing. You could light it like that, but I wouldn't suggest doing that because it's too short. You don't want it to accidentally go off too fast. So the day of, I'll either cut the tape off or pull the fuse out, and then that way it doesn't fall out, and then I show up on the day to use it and it doesn't have a fuse in it. That's going to be it for this one. They do perform really well. I'm going to show a video on how those work, so that way you know how they sound and how they perform and all that. But anyways, I appreciate y'all for watching, and until the next one.